folks, Dave here at Thunder Mesa Studio with another update on the Gruesome Gulch layout. This week it's all about lighting, both for the structures and other things on the layout and for the background. The first thing I want to do in this video is show you how I install a 9-volt power bus for all of the structure lighting. And then after that, we're going to use some color changing LED tape lights to add a little bit more atmosphere to the background. Now this little terminal strip here is just something I picked up at my local hardware store. It's not really designed for this particular use, but I've adapted it by putting jumper wires between the positive and negative terminals. That way I can bring positive and negative, positive, negative, positive, negative in on each one of these to plug in my structure lighting. And it's attached to a 9-volt DC transformer. This is basically one for a guitar pedal, and I like it because it's got a nice slim design, so it doesn't take up a whole bunch of room on the power strip. You can just plug it right in. And I'm just about ready to install this. And the most important thing, I think, from experience when installing these little power strips is accessibility. You want to be able to get to it. You want to make it easy to get to so you can attach and detach wires from your structures and things like that. So don't hide it from yourself. I speak from experience, having put a few in places where I later wished I hadn't and had to move them because they just weren't easily accessible. So I'm putting this over in this little corner of the Gruesome Gulch layout. There's going to be a panel right here that I can remove to access this. And since this is foam, I'm going to use some tape on the back. This is that industrial strength 3M foam mounting tape. It's the red stuff. And I think that should hold it pretty well to the foam here. Screws and anything like that, of course, isn't going to work in foam. Those will pull right out. Backing off. Let me make sure I get this right where I want it, which is back up here. Let's press it into place. A little more crooked than I wanted it. There we go. All right. That is not going anywhere. Now I want to add an on-off switch to my 9-volt power supply, so I don't have to bend down and unplug the wall wart every single time. So I've got a little toggle switch here. It's a nice looking toggle switch. It's a single pole, single throw, which means it's just a basic off or on. So I just need to hook it up to one of these wires. I think I'll choose the positive lead. Cut that right there. Some insulation. And now I can solder these to the switch. Before I do the final installation of my switch, I'm going to test everything once again, make sure it all works. Just use a blue LED here for fun. Alright, let's plug this wall wart in and make sure it all works. On, off, on, off. I think it works. I want this on-off switch to be hidden underneath the layout. I don't want any visible control panels or anything on this. So once again, I'm using the 3M super adhesive professional grade, whatever they call it. I'm going to mount this underneath to the wooden benchwork right here. Just right here. Well, now it's just a matter of running the hookup wires down from everything that's got a light in it, plugging them in. This is the wiring for Skull Butte. And by the way, each one of these terminals, you can put multiple light sources on these. There's more than enough 9-volt power here to light everything on this layout. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and hook the depot up to this same terminal also. Now I'm hooking up the newspaper office and the undertakers, which are actually wired together. And all this wiring will be hidden when all is said and done. Now over here I wanted to show you how the lights are installed in the buildings. This is basically just a soda straw that's been glued into place. The LED goes down through there, wiring goes down underneath, and the structure just fits right on top like that. Alright, now for some background lighting. So this stuff is RGB LED tape light. The RGB stands for red, green, blue. And what that means is they're adjustable. I can program them or change them to any color that I want. And if you've never used tape lights before, this would be a pretty good introduction, I think. Comes with a little remote control. It's got a transformer already built in. Plugs right into the wall or to a power strip. And I've got 16 feet of it, which would be just enough for my needs. Because what I want to do is I want to take that tape light and run it around below the level of the layout, up against the backdrop, up against the background, which I already painted kind of a neutral gray blue. And that way the light will shine up onto the backdrop and be visible behind the layout. And then I can change it for day or night or moonlight or spooky green or whatever I want to do. Now, in order to achieve this, I need to build a little shelf for the tape lights to sit on. If I just taped them to the wall, they would be pointing in the wrong direction, be pointing out rather than up towards the backdrop, which is what I want. So, in order to build this little shelf, I've got some 1x2s and some molding, some decorative molding. What I do is make a little sandwich here. This 1x2 gets screwed to the wall, and then the molding goes over the top, like so. The wall is here, and then the RGB tape lights go along this strip like that, shining up at the backdrop. I've already done most of this, just got one strip left to do right down here. Just wanted to show you the process and kind of keep the footage of me crawling around on the floor to a minimum. There's only so much of that you and I can take. So the first thing I need to do is screw on this 1x2 cleat, and this line right here where the backdrop painting ends, that's exactly where I want to put this. So I'm going to use some drywall screws, 1 1/4 inch drywall screws to do this. Countersink on that. And this I'm holding on with just some flathead wood screws. Should do it. Now the tape lights come on a spool, which ordinarily would be great, but unfortunately I kind of need to start at this end, the end that's at the end of the spool, and that way I'll get good even distribution of light all the way around. I need to start over in that corner and work my way around over here to where the plug is. So, don't need this. And when they say tape lights, that's exactly what they mean. There's a strip of 3M adhesive along the back of the entire LED strip, and you just have to pull the backing off, get it started. Don't do what I did the first time and pull the tape off altogether. That's easy to do. I'll start in this corner right here. Work my way all the way around. Yeah. Corners are a little tricky. This stuff doesn't really bend at 90 degrees. You have to kind of have to improvise at the corners. Straight parts are easy though. So again, at the corners you just have to kind of fudge a little bit. That's the end. It's just about how I planned it. Gives me room for the receiver unit down at this end. This is what you aim the remote control at to control the LEDs. Is there a prettier way to put that? I don't think so. It's got some stickum on the back too. Let's see how that does. There we go. Ooh, let's plug it in. That plug goes in there. This plug goes in there. All right. Get the remote, turn it on. Let's try on. Ooh. Well, since I've spent most of this project crawling around on the floor, obviously it must be time now to get up on a ladder, and that's what I'm doing now. Now I want to install a couple of portable can lights. I've already got one over here, you can see, with the orange light in it. And these are to light the front side of the Gruesome Gulch layout, which is right behind me there. We've got the RGB strip to light up the background, and now I need a couple of lights to light up the foreground. So I'm going to install that right now. So in that can, I've got the orange light, and in this one, I'm going to have a blue light. These are both LED bulbs, very low energy and don't get hot at all. But the reason I want orange on one side and blue on the other is so that I can have that kind of classic warm, cold lighting effect. So it'll be warm from one side and cool from the other. See, it's always right around dusk, right around twilight in Gruesome Gulch. Just light enough to see, but not so light that you know, it'll kill the vampires or anything. Yeah. Now, since this is more or less a temporary setup, I'm just using some thumbtacks to hold the cord in place temporarily. I'll probably replace these with those nifty cord keeper things you can get, but just want to let you know you should never use staples or anything like that on an electrical cord. It's okay for like speaker wire, but a staple can puncture the insulation, cause a short circuit, and therefore a fire, so don't use staples on electrical cords. We can switch it on and adjust the lighting. Since this transom above the door lets in a lot of light from the hallway, decided to cover it up with some old black sheet that I had. Now I'm just cutting the end to make it a little spookier, make it match the Gruesome Gulch look. Well, that is a big one off the list. With all the lighting done, we are that much closer to the grand unveiling of Gruesome Gulch on Saturday, October the 29th, 2022. But for now, let's just take a look at the entire effect. As you can see, I couldn't really decide on a single color for the background lighting, so I'm keeping the RGB strip on a slow fade for now, going from one color to the next. Well, you know, I love it when a plan comes together. I want to thank you all for watching that entire project. I hope you got something good out of it. Don't forget you can also follow Thunder Mesa over on Instagram at thunder.mesa or see all that's new on the Thunder Mesa Studio website at thundermesa.studio. And if you really like what we're doing here at the channel and would like to show your support, you can head on over to patreon.com/thundermesa like these nice folks did and show your support there. Until next time, keep moving forward, my friends. Adios for now.